Mr. Cheney, members of the selection committee, faculty, parents, and students, welcome to Kent Hills School's National Honor Society induction ceremony. We're gathered here to formally recognize these students who have been selected by the faculty of our school for successfully completing their candidacy and are being inducted this evening as new members of our National Honor Society chapter. For any NHS members who may be among our in-person or online guests, we hope this will serve to remind you of the standards of excellence you too are charged with maintaining as a member of the nation's oldest, largest, and most prestigious student recognition program. Founded over 100 years ago, the National Honor Society currently has over 1 million participants around the world. As a person who values tradition, I'm pleased to be part of this organization. Members of our chapter serve as role models for other students. They've worked hard in the classroom and have demonstrated dedication and commitment to their sports and activities. In addition to the strong academic records which established the eligibility for membership, our chapter members are leaders in numerous student organizations and serve our school and community through many activities, whether shoveling walkways, giving tours to prospective Huskies, or doing work in our own backyard or as part of our school's mission trip. These students understand that serving others is a meaningful way to improve their own self-worth and competence. We're proud of their accomplishments, and we are proud of each and every one of these students. We welcome their energy as new NHS members. Now, it's time that we proclaim to all in attendance that membership in the Kent Hills School chapter of the National Honor Society has been earned by these candidates through the effective demonstration of the 4 qualities that serve as standards for the society. Members of the chapter will now review these qualities for the candidates. We begin with scholarship.
Scholarship denotes a commitment to learning. A student is willing to spend hours in reading and study, knowing the lasting benefits of a cultivated mind. We should continue to learn even when formal education has ended, for human education ends only with the end of life. Knowledge is one great element in life which leads to the highest success, and it can be acquired in only one way, through diligence and effort. Learning furnishes the lamp by which we read the past, the torch guiding us to understand the present, and the light that illuminates the future. Candidates have the charge to continually expand their world through the opportunities inherent in scholarship.
Service.
My office is service. Service can be established in the routine of the day's work, where many opportunities arise to help others both at school and in the community. A willingness to work for the benefit of those in need without monetary compensation or public recognition is the quality we seek in our membership and promote for the entire student body. We are committed to volunteering our time and talents to the creation of a better tomorrow.
Leadership.
Leadership should exert a wholesome influence on the school in taking initiative in the classroom and in-school activities. The real leader strives to train and aid others to reach their common goals of success. The price of leadership is sacrifice, the willingness to yield one's personal interest for the interest of others. A leader has self-confidence and will go forward when others hesitate. No matter what power and resources may exist in a school, community, or nation, they're not effective without the guidance of a wise leader. Leadership is always needed. Thus, to lead is a meaningful charge to each of our members.
Character.
Character is the force within the individual that distinguishes each person from others. It creates for each of us our individuality, our goodness. It is that without which no one can respect oneself nor hope to attain the respect of others. It is the force of character that guides one through life and, once developed, grows steadily within. Character is achieved and not received. It is the product of constant thought and action, the daily striving to make the right choice. The problem of character is the problem of self. We must be in reality what we wish to appear to others, to be rather than to seem, by demonstrating such qualities as respect, responsibility, trustworthiness, fairness, caring, and citizenship. We may hope to prove by example that we value character.
Thank you. Now, Ms. Chute will lead us in reciting the NHS pledge.
At this time, will the new inductees please rise? Raise your right hand and repeat the pledge. The audience can follow the text as printed in your program. Please join me in reciting the pledge. I pledge to uphold the high purposes of the National Honor Society, to which I have been selected. I will be true to the principles for which it stands, and will maintain and encourage the high standards of scholarship, leadership, service, and character.
Thank you. You may be seated. And now, as your name is called, please step forward onto the stage to receive your tokens of membership. Norris Andrews. Alex Cephas. Zoe Cheney. Tanner Cole. Chelsea Gaero. Ava Katz. Aiden Herbertson. Samantha Kind. Clara Ev Landry. Garrison Melendi. Shrey Muley. Amelia Cannell. Sarah Maud Richard. Tyler Smith. Morgan Townley. Thank you. And now, congratulations, by the way. And now, I would like to ask you all to join me in welcoming our keynote speaker for this evening's ceremony. Mr. Parker Beveridge has been part of the Kents Hill community for 3 decades. A member of the school's Board of Trustees since 1989, his daughters Claire and Emily were both students at Kents Hill in the class of 1998 and 2000, respectively. Mr. Beveridge served as the Dean of Admissions and Financial Aid at Colby College from 1985 to 2011 and continued his career in academia to work with high school students in college counseling at the Kaohsiung American School in Taiwan and at the American International School of Lagos in Nigeria. It is my pleasure to welcome Mr. Parker Beveridge.
Well, good evening to all. I must say at the start that I was a little unnerved at the candle lighting this evening. In Waterville, we had a restaurant burned to the ground last night, and so I was a little bit skittish as I watched the flames go out and the candles fall onto the table. Well, thank you, Mrs. Reynolds, for the introduction and for having invited me to be a part of this special National Honor Society ceremony this evening. Roughly 60 years ago, I participated in a similar event at Coney High School in nearby Augusta. Of course, I was on the student side of the activity at that time, but I remember the NHS induction ceremony well. It was a prideful moment in my life at that time, and it remains nonetheless meaningful to me today. Induction into the National Honor Society is an impressive achievement, and I offer my heartiest congratulations to the 15 of you who have earned this recognition this evening. You have distinguished yourselves in 4 critical areas of personal growth, pillars that the National Honor Society has deemed to be essential underpinnings of a rewarding, fulfilling, and meaningful life, and critical to the betterment of the organizations and communities of which you become a part. Naturally, since Kents Hill School supports a chapter of the National Honor Society, we at the school embrace these same values, and they undergird virtually all of what we do here. One gets a good sense of our commitment to these values when one watches the short video that Mr. Jenkins produced of the mission trip to Louisiana this past month. I suspect that some of you students were actually on that trip. In any case, the video puts on full display the positive, effective leadership of Mr. Munson and others, the great range of student learning, the numerous acts of kindness, good humor, and of course, one great example of service to others. Clearly, scholarship, service, leadership, and character represent equally important pillars, which together help to form a rock-solid foundation for life. It is important to realize, though, that each pillar actually remains a work in progress as you engage in lifelong learning, encounter unforeseen circumstances, identify areas of personal strength and areas for improvement, and as you discover and pursue your own special interest, talents, and passions. And what better place to work especially hard on these important dimensions of personal growth than here as a student at Kents Hill School, a close-knit, diverse, vital community of supportive teachers, administrators, and fellow students. Regarding scholarship, I suspect that by now you diligent and accomplished juniors and seniors understand full well the need to work hard to learn as much as you can, both inside and outside the classroom, to embrace different languages and cultures, and in so many other ways to broaden your horizons. Additionally, I trust by now that you have recognized and heeded many calls for service of all kinds and have begun to appreciate both the social and personal rewards of answering those calls. On the subjects of leadership and character, the two pillars represented by the candles that Holden and Sage lighted this evening, I have a bit more to say. Beyond the name of the school itself, leadership is the one and only word to appear on the Kents Hill School seal. I have to believe that the early stewards of this special place of learning believed strongly that a culture of leadership ought to exist here, that the mission of this preparatory school was not merely to prepare students to meet successfully the academic challenges of college, but also to prepare students for leadership roles in college and beyond. When we think of leadership, I suspect that most of us tend to think first of highly visible leadership positions, like those of class president, proctor, team captain, and so forth, and clearly all of these are important leadership positions. Yet most of us would agree that those who occupy such positions are not equally effective leaders. And for this reason, among others, I contend that it is important for all of us to develop useful and effective leadership skills, whether or not we ever aspire to hold elected or appointed leadership positions. Each of you has the capacity to lead. Indeed, your selection as members of the National Honor Society confirms this. It is now incumbent upon you to work further to develop your leadership skills and self-confidence to lead others. Our homes, schools, and communities, our nation, and our world need good, effective leaders at all levels. We need people who are prepared to step forward. Leadership can take many forms, of course, and leadership styles will vary across different circumstances. Yet, based on many years of close observation and times of trial and error developing leadership skills myself, I believe that effective leadership depends primarily on several essential traits, and this is where character comes in. A truly effective leader typically possesses a high level of self-respect and self-confidence. I'm not suggesting that a big ego is important necessarily, but an effective leader must be big enough to stand accountable. Good leaders must be willing to accept criticism, to admit mistakes, and then to move on. A healthy sense of self begets a desire to engage and to improve oneself, an eagerness to move beyond one's comfort zone, to work hard, and at times to risk failure. Don't ever fret that there may be others who can outperform you in certain areas. More often than not, this is likely to be the case. Nevertheless, Stay focused and work hard to be the very best version of yourself, whatever the task at hand. Admittedly, developing this healthy sense of self can be a longer process for some than for others. And if some of you happen to be ahead of your peers in this regard, then in this culture of leadership at Kents Hill School, you must work hard to support your schoolmates and to boost their self-confidence. This attention to schoolmates brings to mind another essential trait of effective leaders, and that is the respect accorded to others. Try hard to communicate honestly with one another, to listen attentively, to embrace differences of opinion, realizing that nearly every issue has multiple sides. Try to understand contrary viewpoints rather than immediately try to invalidate them. Learn from one another, be considerate of one another, be kind to all, show empathy as appropriate, and by all means, laugh with one another, never at one another. Develop a consistently positive attitude, and I know this is a terribly difficult thing to do. However, no one can easily follow a leader who is unfailingly moody and unpredictable, or one who is almost always a downer. Look on the bright side, smile often, greet one another by name, try to maintain that often elusive attitude of gratitude. We all have much for which to be thankful, after all. In conclusion, I advise you to revisit the National Honor Society Pillars of Leadership and Character often, not only during your remaining time at Kents Hill School, but as you become leaders in college and in the world beyond, as you become engaged citizens, committed activists, elected officials, captains of industry, and perhaps even parents, one of the most demanding, important, and rewarding leadership roles of all. Try to determine why some leaders are effective and some are not. Follow good examples and work hard to be a good role model yourself. Leading by example, in my opinion, is the most effective leadership skill of all. Congratulations once again to you new members of the Kents Hill School chapter of the National Honor Society. My compliments to your parents as well, for surely they played important roles in leading to your achievement today. Keep up your good work. Continue to be worthy role models for others to follow, and be proud of yourselves. Be assured that the rest of Kents Hill School shares with you this sense of pride. And on behalf of the Kents Hill School Board of Trustees, I wish you much happiness and success as you continue your education and throughout your wonderful journeys of a lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Beveridge. And now, our head of school, Mr. Cheney, will offer his congratulations and closing remarks.
Thank you and welcome. I'd like to thank Mr. Beveridge. And I would also say that, he is a perfect speaker for this. He's always had a keen eye for these 4 pillars. And I know that because he admitted me to Colby College 35 years ago. Thank you, Mr. Beveridge. Thank you to our student speakers. You were wonderful, except for the candles. We'll work on that. But we got through it. And of course, thank you to Mrs. Reynolds and Mrs. Chute for leading this group. This is a wonderful recognition of some really amazing young people, and we wouldn't be able to do that without them. I also want to offer my congratulations and echo what Mr. Beveridge said. First, I'd like to congratulate the parents, the staff, and the faculty, because this is a community effort. No one person goes on this journey alone, achieves any of these pillars by themselves. Ultimately, the congratulations go to you, the students, for what you've done and what you've learned from the people who have helped you and guided you and molded you. And I will say, it is one of those moments in the year that inspires me to see 15 young people who have such a wide range of amazing achievements as we think about the world beyond us. Tonight, you were recognized for what you've done. But in accordance with the National Honor Society motto of noblesse oblige, what is more important is what you do going forward. That motto means to those who are given literally nobility, or I think in this case recognition and importance, it is your obligation to give back. I know that's not a worry with any of you, that you are the kind of people who give back and give back often. I would also say that you have made wonderful contributions to our community. And community at Kents Hill is stronger because of each one of you. And I think that's an important lesson for each of you to remember, is that communities, whether it's Kents Hill, college, a team, a class, or the bigger world, these are not joined, but they are built. And they are built by young people like you who demonstrate these wonderful characteristics. I'll end with one of my favorite quotes from Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed individuals can change the world. In fact, it's the only thing that ever has. And that is my hope for each of you, that you will go out in this very challenging time, and with the support of all those in the Kents Hill community, that you will go out and change the world. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Cheney. I'd like to thank our selection committee as well as the members of our community who made the ceremony and its broadcast possible. Thank you all for attending our NHS induction ceremony. Please join me once again in applauding all of our new National Honor Society members. And now, please stand as our newest members of the National Honor Society recess. And we have cookies and beverages out in the foyer. Thank you.